Hi, this is Alex Mitchell from the Modern Product Manager, and today we're talking about if the Avengers were product managers. Super excited to share this one with everyone. So, the Avengers, right? Everyone knows the Avengers, of course, right? The four movies have topped the list of really most successful superhero movies, of course, but even most successful movies of all time. So, if you look at these four movies, they've all made more than $1 billion worldwide, and Avengers Endgame made close to 2 billion. It may, by the time you're watching this, have broken the 2 billion threshold. But what's really cool about the Avengers, right, is they bring different skills. They have different personalities, they have different strengths, they have different weaknesses. And so, if you look at the team of Avengers supporting each other, it's kind of like a team of product managers, or at least a great team of product managers, where they each bring their own skills. Together, they're able to defeat aggressive foes out there, the best of enemies, the most challenging business environments. So, Avengers as PMs, it's a fun one. I'm excited to share this with you today. So, a little bit on me, Alex Mitchell, been doing product for close to 10 years, currently the director of product at Kin, also founded a couple of companies. And just a quick shout out, you can find a lot of great content like this, a lot of great free content at themodernproductmanager.com. So do check that out after you watch this video on the Avengers as PM. So let's dive right in. Let's not waste any time here. Let's go straight to Iron Man. So Iron Man's product management persona is a visionary product manager. So why does he fall in this bucket? So it doesn't take much, right? Just look at Tony Stark. He is a visionary. Look at Stark Industries. Look at the amount of capital and forward thinking and innovation they have, bottomless funding, crazy ideas. That is Iron Man. He built this suit, right? His innovation, his vision, is everything there. So on the strengths, right, as you see Iron Man fight, he's very intelligent, right? He's very adaptable. He's able to react to different situations, build things that are maybe a step, two steps, three steps ahead of what everyone else is doing out there. But on the flip side, he does have a couple weaknesses. So he sometimes tries to shoulder, everything on himself instead of delegating. Sometimes tries to lift the load for everyone else, either figuratively or actually, for the rest of the Avengers. So when you have this type of PM or this type of Avenger, pairing them with someone who might be a get shit done product manager, so someone who's very organized, very focused, pairing them with someone who is looking a little bit more out there in the future, like an Iron Man or like a Tony Stark, could be a good idea. So pairing Iron Man with Hulk or with Thor, who we'll talk about in a second, two get shit done product managers could be a good mix. And then, if you were going to find Iron Man, as a product manager, where would he be working? I think he would be working at Google X. So a place that specializes in moonshots, in ideas that maybe never will make any money, but may change the world, right? So I could definitely imagine Iron Man being at Google and specifically at Google X. The Hulk, right? So the Hulk is almost your prototypical get shit done product manager. I said, doesn't really even need any explanation. So the Hulk sees a problem in front of him and he destroys it, right? He smashes it. He breaks through that wall. He throws it. Whatever he has to do, he is going to get rid of that problem. And so that strength, right, is that nothing stands in the Hulk's way. Much like a get shit done product manager, they are going to find a way through that obstacle. There is nothing that can't be overcome. The weakness, though, like a get shit done product manager, there is not much control sometimes. You're going to rub people the wrong way, and there will be a lot of collateral damage, right? There will be things that get broken, feelings that get hurt, things that need to get repaired, teams that need to be mended after the fact. So, of course, like the Hulk breaking a lot of things, this get it done product manager got to be a little bit careful. So I recommend maybe pairing them with someone who might be a little bit more deliberate, a little bit more of an analytical thinker like Black Widow, who we'll get to in a second. And so, the Hulk or get shit done product managers in general, you find them at rapidly scaling growth stage companies like a Robin Hood, where you are just going to overcome all of those obstacles in front of you for the sake of growth, and you might burn a few bridges along the way. Captain America, a great example of a marketing product manager, right? So just look at him, right? He is branded America. He is, kind of wearing the, red, white, and blue. He has, a shield that's also branded. He really is all about marketing himself, whether he would say that or not. I don't think he would say that. And so it's almost too good. His product strength of his ability to brand, his ability to market himself, and his personality, just overly pure, goes along with that strength as well. So flip side on the weakness, Captain America kind of sees the good in everyone and everything. Even if that person or that thing isn't good, he kind of assumes the best of everyone, which is also, kind of a strength, but double-edged sword here. Leads to him not being super well prepared when things maybe go wrong or things fail, or not even being aware of these possibilities. Cap just can't react super well, right? He has to kind of react on the fly instead of planning for those things. So because of those reasons, Captain America, in this case, I would recommend he partners with someone like Hawkeye, someone who's very precise, very planning, very thinking a few steps ahead, a technical product manager in that case, to kind of see around those corners, to plan for those different scenarios that may come up, to evaluate those different options. So Captain America, where would he work? Maybe at a place like Snap, right? A place that is a lot about brand, a lot about kind of sexiness, a lot about, appealing to a younger generation. Snap could be a good home for Captain America. Thor. Okay, so Thor, we already revealed, right? Thor is a get shit done product manager, just like the Hulk, but there's a little bit of a twist. So, on those strengths, right? Of course, Thor is super strong, right? Speed, agility, you name it. Obviously, Thor's hammer is a massively strong weapon. He functions in clearing obstacles, right? He's clearing obstacles. He's getting things out of the way. But Thor also suffers, similar to the Hulk, from losing sight of kind of the bigger vision. And Thor also lets, though, kind of not as much similar to Hulk, but some way similar to emotions sometimes get in the way. So, especially if Thor's power is threatened, or he feels threatened, emotions can be consuming for Thor. So, pairing Thor again with either an analytic PM or a visionary PM, in the case of our examples here, Black Widow or Iron Man, is probably a good idea. That would be good to kind of counterbalance, maybe some of those emotions, counterbalance some of that get shit done attitude with a little bit more analytical thinking, a little bit more vision and forward thinking. So Thor, we said Hulk you could find at Robinhood. Maybe Thor you'd find at a company like DoorDash, a company that owns almost half of the restaurant delivery market, scaling incredibly fast, especially during the pandemic. You could find a Thor at the company DoorDash. Black Widow. All right, another different persona of PM here. So we are looking at an analytic PM here, right? So Black Widow is very calculating, kind of always thinking steps ahead. She doesn't win in strength, but she has a ton of mental capacity. She is always kind of game theorying out the situations, and that definitely is one of her big advantages. But a weakness, though, sometimes when she's gaming out those decisions, she almost overthinks it, right? So she might second guess herself. She reflects on past decisions, maybe that didn't go well. Sometimes she learns from them, but most of the time she's kind of weighed down by her past, especially her kind of spy, espionage-oriented past. She carries that weight to the present, and it hurts her decision-making ability, which is something as a PM, you want to learn from your past, but you don't want to feel it like a weight on you. You don't want to always be second guessing yourself based on that, one or two times things went sideways. That will really damage your ability to make decisions. And so pairing her with someone like Iron Man, a little bit more visionary, someone who's always looking into the future, never into the past, can kind of counterbalance what Black Widow does too much of, which is maybe thinking about the past and looking into the past. And so where would an analytic PM like Black Widow end up? Maybe a company like Palantir, company that's a little bit secretive, that works with some spy agencies, that's heavy into data. I don't know if I could think of a better place for Black Widow to go and work as an analytic PM. And our final Avenger here that we are profiling is Hawkeye. All right, so Hawkeye, everyone kind of knows Hawkeye's skills, right? He's incredibly accurate. He's very tactical. He's able to hit targets from a long distance. He's very focused. So Hawkeye is a technical product manager, if he was one. Kind of scoping those stories perfectly, getting every last detail into those requirements and those acceptance criteria. No one would ever say that Hawkeye didn't put the right details or all of the details necessary into a ticket. However, on the weakness side, Hawkeye is limited in his skills. He's constrained also in his imagination or his vision, right? He's so tactically focused, so technically focused, that is very limiting. In the same way, Hawkeye as an Avenger is limited to physical constraints, right? Has a certain number of arrows. That's a kind of a goofy thing, right? For an Avenger to be limited by, but actually has a certain number of the weapon they use. And then also, is not a slouch when it comes to fighting, but by no means is at the same scale as a Thor or an Iron Man or a Hulk, right? Able to be very agile, but nowhere near the same strength scale. So a couple weaknesses there. As I mentioned before, Hawkeye can pair well with that marketing PM, can also maybe pair well with the visionary PM, someone who just kind of brings a little bit beyond or a lot beyond those tactical planning skills. It can kind of counterbalance some of those weaknesses. So you might find a Hawkeye, this kind of technical product manager, maybe a little bit constrained in imagination. You might find them at a place like Microsoft, at least maybe in Microsoft's legacy group. So their older products or their Office suite, maybe not as much their newer products that they're kind of debuting, but maybe old school Office suite at Microsoft. You might find some technical product managers like Hawkeye. So that was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this content as much as I enjoyed putting it together. Again, you can find a lot like this at themodernproductmanager.com. You can find a lot of other videos on this YouTube channel. Please do subscribe. Please do check out some other videos and like them if you do and share them. Really appreciate it. Definitely look forward to making more just like this. Thanks.